In this episode, it's the tale of two inner tie rods. Welcome to the channel. My name's Grant Tommy. This is Straight Six Fan, your home for offbeat hot rodding. And today, well, it's a couple stories, but we're focusing on swapping out the inner tie rod for the driver's side here on Project Low Fairmont. This is something that, well, I knew probably should have been done a long time ago when I was doing the 5-lug swap. I noted tie rod was bad, but really came to light when insert story number one. Okay, well, as you know, I usually, or maybe you don't, maybe this is your first time, but normally I'm recording on Sundays, which is the case right now. And, well, a week ago Thursday, so not quite 2 weeks ago, but more than a week ago, I had an alignment set up for Project Low Fairmont, and I told the shop, hey, I know the driver's side front inner tie rod is a little loose. I guess front's a little redundant there. But anyway, I kind of just left it at their discretion of, hey, if you think it needs to be replaced, go ahead and replace it. So they get the car up on the lift and they realize, one, they told me that my spindle nuts were, I guess you can't even see that, back in here, spindle nuts were loose, so they tightened those up. And that, yes, the inner tie rod was so loose that they felt whatever they did, they couldn't guarantee how long their work would stay good. So the shop looks up new inner tie rod part numbers and realized that Ford, in their infinite wisdom, had two part numbers. One, if a certain three different two digits were stamped on the steering rack, and one if they were not. So they looked at my steering rack, they couldn't necessarily see any of those digits, so that would imply that it's probably the other one, right? Well, in their opinion, they would have felt better if they just picked up both part numbers. That way we would know one way for certain. Well, come to find out, the one when it's not stamped on the steering rack, well, that one was gonna be like over a week's lead time to get delivered in. So, guy said, you know, you can come pick your car up. I'm not gonna hold your car for a week. And if you wanna see if you can find them, both parts somewhere faster, so be it. So I do that. And wouldn't you know, of course, on Amazon, I got one of them to show up via Prime in 2 days. That's the one with the two numbers stamped on the steering rack. Actually, so before I go any further, I'll show you just how bad the inner tie rod is here. But yeah, so the second one, the one without them stamped, it gave me no definite like ship date. And after 2-3 days, it hadn't shipped. So I find it at AutoZone, order it Tuesday night. It says it'll show up Thursday, and it does not show up Thursday. The problem with that was my next appointment with the alignment shop was this past Friday. So I suppose that brings me to story number two. Friday, have an appointment set up, parts not in. Of course, FedEx gives me the same alert they gave me the day before, that it should show up by days in. The part does come in, but it comes in at like 3 something in the afternoon. The shop closes at 5. So I'm not gonna pressure the shop to try to get it wrapped up in an hour and a half on a Friday. So here we are today, installing my own tie rod. And I got to the point where my biggest crescent wrench is not big enough for this inner tie rod that's on the car. So I gotta go run to the Farm and Home store, see if I can find an 1 3/8 wrench or a bigger crescent. Back from the hardware store, and of course the biggest open-end wrench they had went to 1 5/16. In my caliper I measured 1 3/8 of an inch, of course, for the tie rod that's on the car. So we bought a bigger crescent wrench and see if we can extract it now. Well, that broke it loose, so we will just count how many turns it takes to back this thing out. 1. Oh, nope, that's not even spinning, so. Seven. Eight. So 8.5. One, 2, 3, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21. So 8.5 and 21. Well, good news is it turns out the part we had to wait on the longest is the right one. So it was worth the wait. What's the difference between the two, you might ask? Basically, like 3/4 of an inch. But hey, it's the motion of the ocean, right? Wait, whatever. Alright, so we're gonna get this spun back on 8.5, 9 times. Then we'll put the outer tie rod in, and we should be good to go to the alignment shop, and they can fine tune it for me. And hopefully, you know, when I drove out to Will's Wheels, and if you missed that episode, info card in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, but yeah, it's got a little dicey past 60 miles an hour. There's quite the wobble in the steering wheel. Hopefully this takes care of that issue. But we've got to get the dust shield back on first, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. So much better seeing this being able to just suspend itself in midair like that. In a much better spot. So anyway, we will clock this guy around 21 times and call it good. And so just like that, an hour and a half later, one trip to the hardware store, and all these tools later, we've got a new tie rod, inner tie rod, in on Project Le Fairmont, saving myself money and labor. And so now I can take this to, you know, even a national or a chain store like NTB to get the alignment done. and which is good because I've got, I don't know, 50-mile trek to Blue Springs, Missouri this coming Saturday for Project Low Fairmont's first car show. Looking forward to that. Hoping to meet up with some other Fairmont owners in the process, so I really hope to bring you guys some good content based out of that car show. You know, that remains to be seen. We shall see. But hey, if you like this, among other things, over here, I'll leave some other Project Low Fairmont videos. But hey, otherwise, just want to say to all my 6 fans out there, thanks for watching.